Hi everyone, this is Lemon Tea. If you've been following my art recently, you probably know I'm full stream ahead on drawing Yuri. It's honest work, it keeps me sane, and honestly, the community is great. Or at least it would be great if my DMs were an absolute fever dream. Because before I fully committed to the Yuri life, I had a phase. A few years ago, I drew a lot of fan art for Godobun no Hanayome. I don't know how to read it in English. It's not an Yuri work, it's a boys meet girls love comedy. And well, to put it delicately for YouTube's ad-friendly algorithm, I draw a lot of art, and my fanbox subscription tier used to feature some extra anatomical details that belongs to male. And apparently the internet never forgets. Today we're going through the most insane, absurd, and downright bizarre DMs I've received as an internet artist. Let's start with the heavy hitter, the one I mentioned in the title. One day I got a DM in Pacific Chinese calling me a Yuri traitor and to unalive myself because I posted D in my very old post on Fanbox. Oh, if you don't know what Fanbox is, it's basically like a Japanese Patreon. Guys, I actually felt kind of bad for that person, because my eye was locked behind an opt-in age-gated Fanbox tier. You had to pay money and click through free warning screen to see that. So I clicked my notification and saw that user purchased the most expensive plan, and then he or she probably rage quitted after scrolling through all my posts. Okay, sorry guys, I'm going full on Yuri now, but so there won't be any new surprise third leg on my website. But yeah, I guess you have to acknowledge the fact that I have not been drawing Yuri for my entire life. Now, unalive threads are wild, but at least there's some emotion behind them. What confuses me even more are the DMs that feels like an NPC in the RPG games. The second one I would like to share is the daily greeting guide. For 6 months straight, and I mean every single day, this one user DM'd me twice a day. So, 8 a.m. in the morning, good morning. 2 p.m., good afternoon. Sometimes I'll get good night, but not as often. That's it. No follow-up, no art comments, no hey, I love your work, just politeness. At first, I thought it was some kind of thought. So one day I replied to that user saying, oh, good morning, hope you have a great day. And he or she actually replied back. It says, thank you for replying. And then the next day at 2 p.m., he sent, good morning, and started the loop again. Am I part of their daily routine? Am I the digital clock to this guy? Or is it some kind of spy code I have to respond to? I respect the consistency for sliding into my DM at least twice every day. The third one I would like to share is the requester. Of course, you can't be an online artist without encountering them. Now that I draw Yuri, I expected normal requests like, can you draw these two characters going on a bakery date, or can you draw them stargazing? Nope, I received a message that started very respectfully praising my shading technique. Well, I felt flattered, and then came the hook. So the DM says something like this. Your art is amazing. Now, can you draw character A lifting her arm, but make sure there's extremely detailed thick armpit hair? Listen, no shame to anyone's personal preference, okay? But the jump from, I love your drawing, to this caught me so off guard. I guess I'm not that broke to cater that request. And the next one I want to share is the weirdest one I've ever encountered. I will call this guy the Distorter. So there's this user who always take my freshly posted art on Twitter and runs it through some image distortion bot or liquify tool until it looks like a melted puddle of pixels. Then the user would DM it back to me or just leave it in the comments. No caption, just a heavily distorted, cursed version of my own drawing, looking like it got sucked into a black hole. The first time it happened, I asked, why? Like, he would tag a distortion bot on Twitter and then send something like this and disappear into the shadows. Is this some kind of new art critic, or is it a threat? Is it an abstract performance art? I don't know. But every time I post a wholesome piece, I live in fear of seeing it turn into a mirror nightmare 10 minutes later. But I haven't seen that user for so long, and I hope he never appear again. Okay, so an extra story I want to share. So a while back, a Japanese guy DM'd me on Twitter. At first, it was totally wholesome. He was saying how much he loved my art, complimenting my rendering, and asking me what kind of brushes and tools I use for drawing. Naturally, I'm thinking, oh, awesome, an actual fan that is interested in drawing, so I'm happy to share it. And so I replied to him, gave him a friendly breakdown of my workflow, and thought that was that. And then the escalation started. A few days later, he messaged me again, asking me, can we meet up in real life to talk about art? I was like, I don't live in Japan, so that's going to be pretty difficult. Instead of taking a hint, he immediately went, do you use Line? Can I have your personal contact information? Can you send me a photo of what you look like? Well, now that's a speed run from art fan to personal boundary investigator. I was so creeped out that I just muted the threads and ignored him completely. Now fast forward 3 years, the story doesn't stop here, but I think it's got a nice ending. So out of nowhere, just last month, my notification popped up. It's from that guy. I literally just forgot he exists in my life or in my DM and had to scroll up to see our chat history 3 years ago. So I opened the DM expecting another weird request, but instead it's a full paragraph of him apologizing for being annoying 3 years ago. Turns out he had been pulling his exact polite fan to creepy boundary crosser pipeline on a bunch of other artists or anime fans, and I think he got publicly called out on Japanese Twitter, and so he was now doing a full apology tour in everyone's DM to save face. Bro, 3 years later, glad you stopped doing weird things on the internet. Now, being an online artist is such an adventure. You start out just wanting to draw some cute anime girls, and you ended up managing a museum of internet weirdness. At the end of the day, despite the rare Pokemons on the internet, I still love doing what I do. And the community as a whole has been super supportive, and honestly, the weird DM just give me good videos content anyway, but stop sending me those, okay? If you're an artist watching this, what's the weirdest DM you've ever received? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my socials if you want to see my actual art. And no, I will not be fulfilling armpit hair requests. Anyway, in this video, I have been drawing a fan art of Kamina Botan, which is a recent anime, and I'm on a challenge to draw 100 Yuri illustration, and this is my 7th work, and I think this turned out pretty well. Then my progress is really slow, but I quite like this one, so check it out, and I'll post the final work in the end of this video. Now thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!